The Philippines, an archipelago of over 7,000 islands, has long been admired for its white sand beaches, vibrant culture, and resilient people. But behind the breathtaking landscapes lies a darker, growing truth. Several provinces are on the edge of a complete collapse. In 2025, economic breakdowns, environmental disasters, insurgencies, and corruption have pushed some regions to the brink. What's even more alarming, these aren't just remote provinces, some of them are vital to the country's future. In this video, we count down the top 10 Philippine provinces on the brink of total collapse, based on expert analysis, news reports, and ground-level developments. Watch closely because the number one province may surprise and disturb you. And remember, knowing the truth is the first step to change. Let's begin. Number 10, Northern Samar. Northern Samar has always battled poverty, but in 2025, the situation has worsened beyond what most expected. Over 60% of the population now lives below the poverty line, with many families lacking access to clean water, proper shelter, or electricity. This province is also a regular victim of powerful typhoons that destroy its fragile infrastructure every year, forcing people to rebuild from scratch again and again. Agriculture, the province's primary livelihood, has collapsed due to floods and pests, and government programs have failed to reach remote barangays. With youth migration on the rise and development at a standstill, Northern Samar is slowly being abandoned by its own people. A slow death no one is watching. Number 9, Basilan. For years, Basilan has walked a tightrope between peace and conflict. While the military has regained control of key towns, 2025 has seen a disturbing rise in extremist activity, kidnappings, and political assassinations. Locals live in fear of being caught in the crossfire, and entire communities have been displaced. Infrastructure remains poor, schools are underfunded, and health services are almost non-existent in remote areas. Despite the government's promises of peace and development, most of Basilan's potential remains trapped under the weight of violence and neglect. If the situation deteriorates further, Basilan may not recover for decades, if at all. Number 8, Eastern Samar. Eastern Samar is beautiful, but deadly. Located in the typhoon belt of the Philippines, it faces an average of 20 typhoons a year. Each storm brings new destruction: schools without roofs, farmlands underwater, and communities cut off for days or even weeks. In 2025, climate change has amplified the severity of these disasters, and the government's relief efforts are spread too thin. Many residents rely on outdated boats to evacuate or receive supplies. Without a major investment in climate resilience, Eastern Samar risks becoming uninhabitable for the next generation, especially as storms grow stronger and more frequent. Number 7, Lanao del Sur. Lanao del Sur continues to reel from the 2017 Marawi siege, and in 2025, the wounds are far from healed. Despite years of rebuilding pledges, many displaced families still live in makeshift shelters. Access to jobs and education is limited, particularly in rural areas. Clan violence and political rivalries fuel tensions, while extremist recruitment remains a quiet threat. Corruption within the local government slows development projects, and even simple public services like water and electricity are unreliable. If Lanao del Sur is not stabilized soon, it risks slipping back into chaos, a haunting echo of the conflict it barely survived. Number 6, Tawi-Tawi. Tawi-Tawi, the southernmost province of the Philippines, should be a gem of maritime wealth. But in 2025, it is plagued by border insecurity, smuggling operations, and illegal fishing. Despite its rich biodiversity, the province is largely ignored by central government efforts. Infrastructure is severely lacking. Roads are unpaved, hospitals are unequipped, and schools are few and far between. The proximity to Sabah, Malaysia, brings undocumented migration and cross-border tensions. If left unchecked, Tawi-Tawi may spiral into lawlessness, controlled more by illicit trade networks than by government authority. Number 5, Catanduanes. Nicknamed the land of the howling winds, Catanduanes has become a case study in climate disaster. In 2025, 2 super typhoons and several tropical storms have devastated the island in just the first half of the year. The roads have been washed out, bridges collapsed, and thousands of homes destroyed. Farmers, already in debt, now face crop failures due to saltwater intrusion and erratic rainfall. Schools remain closed for months due to damages, pushing children further behind. Mental health issues are also on the rise, as people lose hope year after year. Without sustainable infrastructure and long-term recovery plans, Catanduanes faces a bleak and storm-battered future. Number 4, Sulu. Sulu's strategic location should make it a hub for trade and tourism. Instead, it remains a hotspot for conflict with multiple armed groups, including remnants of Abu Sayyaf still active. In 2025, bombings, kidnappings, and extortion continue to plague communities. Most economic activity is underground, and even basic freedoms like traveling between towns are limited. Children grow up in fear, and the youth have little access to opportunities, making them vulnerable to recruitment by radical elements. The cycle of poverty, violence, and fear has created a psychological collapse, and without radical peace efforts, Sulu may remain locked in crisis indefinitely. Number 3, Masbate. Masbate is collapsing from within. Despite being rich in gold and minerals, illegal mining and land disputes dominate its headlines. The environment is deteriorating fast, with entire hillsides stripped bare and rivers poisoned by mercury. Political violence is also rampant, especially during election season where armed groups often fight for control. In 2025, the province has seen multiple deadly encounters between law enforcers and private armies. People are trapped between corrupt politicians and dangerous mining syndicates. If environmental abuse and political warlordism aren't halted immediately, Masbate may soon become the Philippines' first failed province in the Visayas. Number 2, Mindanao del Sur. After its split from Maguindanao province, hopes were high for better governance, but in 2025, Mindanao del Sur has proven to be a chaotic experiment. With new leadership struggling to assert control, power struggles and corruption are rampant. Basic services such as healthcare and education are paralyzed by bureaucracy. In some towns, armed militias operate with impunity. Development funds are missing, roads remain impassable, and public trust has eroded. The lack of political maturity combined with internal violence makes this province a ticking time bomb. One wrong move, and it could collapse completely. Number 1, Occidental Mindoro. At the top of the list is Occidental Mindoro, a province now in full-blown crisis. Once an agricultural heartland, it now suffers from record-breaking droughts, damaged irrigation systems, and widespread hunger. Indigenous communities like the Mangyan are being displaced by illegal mining and land grabbing. In 2025, protests have erupted as farmers, teachers, and health workers demand action from a government that seems to have turned its back. Water is scarce, medical services are collapsing, and children are dying from malnutrition. If this continues, Occidental Mindoro may not just collapse, it may become the face of climate and human disaster in the Philippines. These aren't just places, they're homes, dreams, and legacies now hanging by a thread. While the rest of the country moves forward, these provinces are fighting battles we can no longer ignore. Collapse doesn't always come with a bang. Sometimes, it's the slow decay no one talks about, but silence is complicity. If this video opened your eyes, share it, speak about it. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe for more real-world breakdowns like this.